Did you just buy a new JL Wrangler or used JL Wrangler and you're wanting to run 37-inch tires? Well, we have the lift for you, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Bo with X's 4x4, where we build badass 4x4s. Are you the owner of a brand new JL Wrangler, maybe a used JL Wrangler that's never been modified, and you're wanting to run those 37s that you've always wanted to run? Now's the time. Well, we have an amazing kit for you guys from JKS. I think it's one of the best kits out there because keep it simple, stupid. That's an acronym from my Marine Corps days. And this kit does exactly that. It keeps it simple, but it does it in all the right ways. And I want to show you guys, first of all, let's walk around over here, Ryan. What year model is this? Doesn't matter. 2018 and up. It's probably a 23. It's pretty fresh. We've installed this kit on a lot of JLs, and what it's going to do is give you all the room you need to run 37-inch tires, but it's going to do it in a way that doesn't really mess with the suspension more than it needs to. I think the suspension rides better than OEM quality. In fact, every customer that we've installed this for, whether they had a 3.6 or a 392 or a 2.0, they've all said the same thing. It rides amazing. It rides better than factory. And it's an amazing deal, and I'll tell you why. Let's go ahead and start by going over what you get in this kit. Now, I didn't drag every single component out of the kit just because it would have been a lot more parts up here, but I pulled what we needed to out, and basically there's a representation of every aspect of this build right here. So for instance, we didn't pull all the springs out, but you will get new front and rear springs. The biggest thing about this kit is the control arms. You're gonna get front and rear lower control arms. What they're gonna do is correct the caster angle after the lift so that the Jeep is gonna drive the way you want the Jeep to drive, just like it did from the factory. But what's cool about them is they're fixed linked, which means they took all the guesswork out for you. So you don't have to worry about putting in adjustable control arms and then adjusting them. These arms are set to length, and they are heavy duty. There's no joints in them that are gonna wear out that you have to maintain. Sure, at some point they may need to be replaced, the bushings in here, but as far, some of these that we sell, they have different kind of joints on the ends that have to be maintained or serviced. And the truth is, people really don't do that the way they should, and they end up with a bunch of bad parts over time, and they have to be fixed, replaced, serviced, whatever. You don't have to worry about that here. It's gonna do what it needs to do to make this thing drive the way you want it to drive by correcting that caster angle in the front. Then we're gonna change the rear lower control arms, and that's a little bit different because normally we're used to changing out the uppers, and what we're doing is correcting the pinion angle so that we don't wear out any drive shaft joints, cause any unnecessary vibrations in the drive line. We're gonna correct the rear pinion angle with these rear lower control arms. They're probably a tad shorter than the factory control arms, so they're going to bring that pinion back under. I don't know why I'm doing that for you guys right now, but it's going to correct the rear pinion angles so you don't have any odd vibrations or driveline bearings in the pinion wearing out too soon prematurely. Now, what's really going to make this guy ride awesome, and what's really great about this kit, are the FOX 2.5-inch DSCs. These are adjustable shocks. These are some of the best adjustable shocks on the market. We put these on a ton of Gladiators and Wranglers, put them on a lot of Broncos, and they just ride amazing because they not only have one adjuster, but they have two adjusters on this. So you can actually adjust your low speed compression and your high speed compression. So the high speed compression, we like to run those up and make them kind of stiff. On the stiff side, low speed, like to run them out kind of low on the softer side of things. And that's a good starting point for customers. But man, these things are so awesome, and they are rebuildable. So after a couple of years of hard abuse, or a year, whatever it takes, you guys can actually get these things rebuilt. And so over time, they might fade out a little bit, the fluid breaks down in them, whatever. These shocks are great because they can be serviced and they're cost effective. Just alone, those shocks retail for about $3,100 or $3,200, I think. There's a little bit of difference between front and rear. This is a front shock. So the remote reservoir on the front shock, we'll show you in a second, gets mounted towards the front bumper on the frame. The rear shock, the rear version of this is actually piggyback. So the reservoir is attached to the shock body itself without any hoses involved. So it kind of keeps things nice and neat back there. But these are great shocks. In fact, I run these on my Super Duty, my F250, and I love these things, man. We've messed with the adjustments on them, and it makes a huge difference. So for those of you out there that have these shocks, if you've never messed with them, I highly recommend you getting out there and playing with the adjusters on these things because it does make a difference. You really will notice a difference in ride control. More so than I can say for a lot of different adjustable shocks out there. Not to knock King or anything like that, but they don't have the high speed and low speed compression on them. So you really just have one adjuster on it and you're kind of stuck with what it gives you, which is okay. But man, when you got an option out there for, you know, high speed and low speed, believe me, it makes a difference. And swing for the fence on that because they're about the same price point, I think, compared to the other brands, but better control. Also in this, you are gonna get bump stops. These are gonna be your rear bump stops. I didn't bring the front ones out, but the front ones are like this, but round, and they're adjustable to whatever. So if for whatever reason your build requires a little bit more or less bump stop than somebody else's, that's why you have these extras pieces in there. So we can add incrementally a little bit at a time until we get you bumped out correctly. Some people have different drivetrains or they have different, you know, like 392 guy, he's gonna need to bump out a little bit sooner than maybe a 3.6 guy or whatever. You just have different components on your build and we need to protect the body or, you know, other components of the drivetrain from the suspension when it bumps out completely. That's what that's for. So that's why you're gonna get some different components in there for the bump stops, and that's to build to your liking. The other thing we're gonna get, these are gonna be your rear sway bar links. So obviously we're going up in height. The old sway bar links aren't gonna be enough. So JKS includes these guys right here. What else do we got here? In the rear, I'm gonna come back to the front in a minute, but we got a couple of pieces here. These are your rear track bar relocation brackets. So these are gonna bolt onto the existing track bar frame. I believe it goes up like this. You don't have an adjustable track bar for the rear, but you do have one for the front. And well, that guy right there bolts onto the existing bracket. That way, as we lift it up, the track bar isn't gonna stay in place and pull the body in one direction or the other as it goes up in height. So we put that on there. It's gonna relocate that mounting point for the rear track bar and put us right back centered where we belong. This is another good, really solid part of this build is gonna be the front track bar that's adjustable. So it's got very heavy duty bushings in it. We haven't had any issues with the JKS stuff as far as bushing failure. That has been an issue with some cheaper companies, track bar bushings, but not on the JKS stuff. Really solid stuff. And like I said, adjustable. So we're gonna get your front axle with the track bar. We're gonna get it relocated and centered underneath the vehicle perfectly. So once we're done with this, we're gonna do a final alignment on it. Everything's gonna line up perfectly thanks to having that adjustable front track bar. And then on here, what's kind of cool about this kit, this JKS, is it's not specific to Rubicon or Sport Saharas. This is the adjustable sway bar links in the front. And what's cool about it is if you have a Rubicon, you really don't need the quick disconnect pins that you would use for this install. Instead, we just hard bolt it in there because you're gonna be flipping a switch on the inside of the cab to disconnect your sway bar. If you don't have a Rubicon, they do give us these slide pins so you can slide the links on and off if you want to disconnect because you don't have the button inside. If you guys had this Sport or Sahara, this is going to bolt up there. So when you do the disconnects, you're going to slide that guy up there and it's not, your sway bar link isn't just going to be flopping around. You're going to put the sway bar link on here when you're not using it and you're going to pin it so it's out of the way, not flopping around. Really cool. I really like this kit because we bought a bunch of these about a year or so ago. We got a really good deal on them. So what we've been doing and what I will do for you guys, since we only have a few of these left in stock, what we're doing is a free install, basically. So we sell you the kit at cost, which is what, Ryan, 4,500 bucks?
4,100.
4,100? Seems cheap. Maybe we should raise the price. I'm just joking. So it's $4,100 before tax, installed. Random fun fact. Did you know that we're located in New Braunfels, Texas? Yeah, that's right. I can't tell you how many times people have been stunned to find out that we're in New Braunfels, Texas. And I'm talking about people that are local to us. So in case you didn't know, that's where we're at. Now, remember what I told you about the shocks? These guys are like $3,100. So most of that you're getting in the price you're getting in shocks. So then it's $1,000 for the rest of the parts plus the installation. Once those kits are run through, you know, what is it? It's about an 6 to 8 hour install on this guy plus the alignment on it. So you're saving quite a bit of money if you guys watch this video and you jump on it quickly before I run out of the remaining kits.
I'm not going to tell you how many there are,
but there's some. And you guys can score a really good deal on this. So, and I think even if we charge you retail or, you know, full retail later on plus install, it's still an awesome kit. I really like this because like I said, the arms are fixed length. So if you guys are wanting to do an install in your garage or something somewhere, this is a great kit. You just bolt the arms in, you're good. Adjust your track bar. This is all stuff you guys can do in your garage. You can set your track bar, center it, and then set your toe. I mean, you can take it to an alignment shop, but after that, if you've done everything correctly, there's really not a whole lot that they can do for you except give you a printout saying it's good. So the big deal is just like if you guys can set your toe. Like I said, let's keep it simple and go with this kit. So as you can see, not every part was on the table. Almost every part. I don't know why we didn't just go ahead and pull the rear springs out. I think that's the only thing we didn't pull out, really. I love products like this because when you guys get one of these, you know, whether we install it or you install it, whatever, there's just, you don't have to think about anything anymore. You don't have to worry about whether or not, you know, your control arms or, you know, set right or anything like that. JKS took all the guesswork out of it for you guys and us for that matter, but it looks really good. I mean, it's kind of like where I like JLs to sit with 37s. That's exactly what we're running here. As you can see, we're running factory wheels. That doesn't mean that you can run factory wheels. We actually added Synergy wheel spacers. I think they're 1 3/4 wheel spacers to each side. And that allows us to keep those factory wheels in play, put the 37s on them, and it's gonna look great. I kind of like that sometimes where you don't go too far with the build. And I know a lot of people out there watching, you're gonna say that
You shouldn't run wheel spacers.
and you're not wrong, except you can run wheel spacers. You can run really quality wheel spacers. I trust Synergy Manufacturing. That's pretty much the only wheel spacer that we sell. Other than that, I don't really advocate anybody else's wheel spacers. I'm sure that there may be some out there that are good, but the Synergy wheel spacers on this, running factory wheels with 37s on it. I mean, I'm not saying it's a budget build, but the customer did pretty well on this one. And like, she got the deal. And again, you guys want that deal, hit us up soon before we run out of the rest of them. If we run out, hell, I may make you some kind of deal on the install anyways. It just depends on whether I can buy it good enough.
Front drive shaft needed.
Ryan just brought up a really good point. You will need a new front drive shaft because anytime you lift these things up, now if you're a highway road warrior, pavement princess, on the JLs, you know that the front drive shaft isn't turning unless you're engaged in 4-wheel drive. Maybe you guys can get away with not doing a front drive shaft, but if you're gonna be off-roading, you definitely wanna replace that front drive shaft because you've just increased your height by 3.5 inches. And you know, that's gonna make a huge difference when you go off-road and you get fully drooped out. That stock drive shaft is not gonna make it, guys. So you need a new front drive shaft. We did put one on here. In fact, we built it here in our shop in New Braunfels, Texas. That's right. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we have our own driveline machine here. We build our own drive shafts in-house. So there's no waiting around 5 to 7 days for a drive shaft to show up. It's already done before you leave. You have a new drive shaft. Awesome, right? I think so. For more videos on off-roading, click here and don't be shy about going to subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. We are gonna be making more content soon. I know I keep telling you guys that, but I'm just gonna have to do it. So anyways, we'll see you in the next video.